Tonight, my dark darlings, let me guide you into the shadows where beauty and horror dance their eternal waltz. This is the tale of the Obsidian Locket, a cursed artifact that proves the most wicked enchantments often come wrapped in the most alluring packages. Draw closer to the flames and let the darkness embrace you. Our story unfolds in a forgotten antiquities shop on Covington Alley, where gaslight struggles against perpetual gloom and the cobblestones whisper secrets of centuries past. Here, among dust-laden curiosities and forgotten treasures, we find Madeline Chen, an artist whose sculptures had begun to earn whispered recognition in galleries that specialized in the unusual. Madeline created art that lived in the space between dreams and nightmares. But lately, her inspiration had run dry, leaving her desperate for something to ignite her imagination. That's what led her to push open the shop's creaking door on that rain-soaked evening, bells announcing her arrival with a sound like distant screaming. The shopkeeper materialized from the shadows, a man whose face seemed assembled from other people's features, poorly stitched together. His smile never reached his eyes, which remained fixed and glassy, like taxidermied specimens. "Welcome," he whispered, voice crackling like autumn leaves. "I've been expecting someone." That's when she saw it. The locket lay nestled in a bed of black velvet, its obsidian surface drinking in what little light dared touch it. Intricate serpents writhed across its surface, their scaled bodies forming a border around a central eye that seemed to follow her movements. The metal, if it was metal, felt warm to her touch, almost alive. "Ah!" The shopkeeper's voice slithered through the musty air. "You have excellent taste. Or perhaps it has chosen you." His fingers, unnaturally long and pale, caressed the locket's surface. It was found in 1888, clutched in the hands of a woman they pulled from the Thames. They say she had been dead for days, yet her grip was so tight they had to. He smiled, showing too many teeth. Well, never mind that. Madeline should have left then, should have noticed how the shadows in the shop's corners had begun to writhe, how the other artifacts seemed to lean away from the locket as if in fear. But its pull was irresistible. "What's inside?" she asked, fingers already reaching for the clasp. The shopkeeper tutted. "That would be telling. But I will say this. It shows each owner something different, something they desperately want to see, or perhaps something they desperately fear." He named a price that should have been suspiciously low for such an exquisite piece, but Madeline was already lost. That night, in her studio apartment, surrounded by her half-finished sculptures, Madeline finally opened the locket. Inside was nothing, just polished obsidian, as black as a starless sky. But as she stared, the surface began to ripple like liquid shadow. First came the whispers, soft suggestions of greatness, of power, of art that would revolutionize the world. The locket promised to show her visions beyond human imagination. All it needed was a little inspiration of its own. The changes were subtle at first. Her sculptures began to take on an unsettling quality. Faces twisted in expressions no human could make, bodies contorted in ways that denied anatomy. Critics called them revolutionary. Collectors paid fortunes for them. But none of them knew the truth, that Madeline wasn't creating these works. She was channeling them from whatever lived inside the locket. Each night, she would open it, and each night, it would show her new horrors. Dimensions of pain and beauty that no mortal mind was meant to comprehend. And each morning, she would wake to find her latest sculpture completed, though she had no memory of making it. Her skin grew pale, her eyes sunken. The locket fed on her dreams, her creativity, her very essence. But she couldn't stop. The visions were too beautiful, too terrible, too perfect. Then came the night she opened the locket and saw herself inside. Not as she was, but as she would become. Her body twisted into one of her own sculptures, face frozen in an eternal scream of ecstasy and horror. And behind her, countless other figures writhed in the darkness, all former owners of the locket, all artists who had sought inspiration in its depths. The shopkeeper found her a week later, her body contorted impossibly among her sculptures, the locket clutched in her rigid fingers. They say her final work was her masterpiece, a sculpture of herself, captured in the moment of realizing that art, true art, demands the ultimate sacrifice. The locket? Oh, it's back in the shop now, waiting for the next artist seeking inspiration. After all, my darlings, true beauty demands fresh perspectives, fresh visions, fresh souls. So the next time you're browsing an antique shop and you see a black locket with serpentine engravings, ask yourself, how badly do you want to create something truly unique, something that will last forever? The locket is waiting, and it has such sights to show you.